Hello and welcome to the Verdict Podcast. Great to have your company on this Monday as we look back on a huge weekend of racing. I'm here with Mick Sharkie. We've gone on location today, Shark. We've come to the epicentre, the hub where it all happens, and that is in the Cranbourne Training Centre Cafe. This is where all the stories get told, or the lies, I should say. And there is plenty to talk about after the weekend. What a Australian Cup. The finale to the Festival of Racing, it couldn't have ended any better with one of the most stirring finishes in the Australian Cup. Quinella to Kira Jack Turnbull will join us here. We'll find out are both Jenni and also Light Infantry man going to go to the Queen Elizabeth. We'll talk about, obviously, the Group 1s in Sydney as well. Good day for Mark Walker. I've got two Group 1s, both here in Australia and over in New Zealand. His main man here, Benny Gleeson, will join us as well. But Sharkie.
Yes, Michael.
I've organised a very special first guest for you because...
Oh, not the connections of she's an artist?
For those... For those that we'll talk to Jack about that. You've got a picture hanging up in the back of your dunny. We will also talk about the sales, which are on at the moment. But I wanted to kick off with this one. A man who rang me last night a number of times saying, I need to meet up with Mick Sharkie. Oh. If you missed it, Sharkie was on The Verdict yesterday on Racing.com. Shawn Mathrick, one of the best moments of his career, and all Sharkie could do was talk about his haircut, saying it looks a bit like a bowl haircut. So the man has come to you. Shawn, great to see you, mate.
Me old, mate. The old bowl haircut, brother. Hey? From a guy that's got a head like a drop pie. Seriously.
On a good day, Shawn.
Oh, yeah. Look, there's a story behind this haircut. So I actually haven't had a haircut for 3 months, and the reason is, between the diesel prices and your tips, I can't afford one. It's been following you. The poor punters out there must be crawling along the ground. No cars are running at all.
You know what? As bowl cut was probably a bit hard. It's more Steve Irwin. There's a bit of Steve Irwin to your haircut.
It's just a non-haircut at the minute, mate. But look, you take it to heart. 56 years old, not a grey hair yet. No, I don't think you can say the same.
No, I certainly can't.
We should get you to take the cap off for those that are watching.
Well, I think everyone knows my challenges with
what they tell me is they said that
follicular department.
You had full black hair, and then once you said what you said about the bowl haircut, they said you realised what you said, you got grey, panicking. So I can't wait for everyone to come to the charity boxing match you and I are going to have together.
That is it.
Yeah, look forward to that one.
And no headgear either.
No. And he can be bare knuckles. I'll wear gloves.
Well done, mate, on the weekend, though. What a quinella for the team. It's not often you get a feature race at Flemington. You've got two horses in it, good prices, and you run one too. Is that the most special day you've had?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I've had group winners before, but to have the quinella, it's a good day when Mathrick and Ma are getting a quinella. Yeah. First time I've quinella a race like that.
Sure, and a couple of horses from other stables too. And look, that's it. I'm not saying it's a mainstay of your career. You've had horses you've gone and bought that have been very successful as yearlings, but what's the attraction with these tried horses? What do you spot these things and think, gee, I would love to get my hands on them one day and wait for them to pop up in digital sales?
No, not really. Just when they come up, like just to straighten Ollie out a little bit too. I didn't sort of go off the trainer's ethic. Godolphin are fantastic to buy from because full disclosure. Yeah. So, when you buy them, they say they've got crook knees, so the whole world knew it, not me. And there was no bite on the other trainers, and the horse had hard arrhythmia and bad feet. So, Ollie, with your poor first $10,000 bet, mate, maybe don't put it up on a bit of form first. But, so it's there for you to see. And obviously, I can spend a lot more time with these horses. It's a small stable, family stable, hands-on. So, you've got to spend hours with these horses, not minutes. And it's so hard for the big barns to do that. They've got, 200, 300, 400 horses where I've got 12 and 14. I spend 3 hours a day just with him at the beach. And, so it's a lot of work for one barn. So I target them horses and, I seen him, race against Jolly Star, and he got checked twice in the straight. And I thought if he had any luck, he won that race that day. So I thought, God, if I can get him back anywhere near that form. Yeah. And my father used to say to me, they don't lose form, they don't lose ability, something's gone wrong, And if you can fix what's gone wrong, you can get that ability back.
Well, fixing knees and feet is not an easy thing to do. What's been the journey with him? What have you had to do? Is it a case of taking concussion out of those joints, or was there particular things that you wanted to work on or had to work on?
Yeah, well, I mean, through our time, we've picked up different things, but with feet, we use a drug called Toradol, which it seems to settle their feet down, and then we tried Arthramid on his knees, and that didn't work. He was actually worse. It can dry their knees out a little bit. Then we cortisoned his knees 4 weeks after that, and he was still bad. So then we mixed the two drugs together with HA and did his knees, and it just had an amazing turnaround. And that was the trick to him. And I really thought I'd done my brass. I thought, God, his action was just woeful. And Yeah, there's obviously something going on there, roughening or, something, structurally he looks fine, but there's something going on in there. And anyway, his knees are terrific now, and we do a lot of beach work with him, and it's changed the horse.
You took a bit of a punt on him. For a stable of your size, paying 90-odd thousands, a pretty big outlay.
Well, it's a lot when you haven't got it. Inglis and Magic Wings, they've just got to be commended, because they carry blokes like me that, I haven't got the owners behind me, and, I have to catch and kill my own. So I really do take a punt, and sometimes I've bought these horses and I've had to win with other races before I can pay for them, So, but I was lucky with him. My son did a lot of scouting around. He got a lot of new owners in, and a few of them were going to be lost to the industry. They'd had horses and had no luck, and they said, look, we're done. And then he spoke to them and they said, look, this will be our last horse. Well, now they're all up and about and they want another one. So it's amazing how it can turn around.
It's a good point that sometimes we get lost in the stories we tell, because we're talking about Group 1 winners, we're talking about the big end of town, but it's the lifeblood of trainers like yourself who you're scratching around to try and survive.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
How do you live your life like that when it's basically paycheck to paycheck, going, how am I going to pay for this horse just to continue?
Yeah, look, it's tough. I'm lucky. I got a position, like I had a property and then it got rezoned, so, and then we bought our place. So we own our place, but I couldn't imagine for trainers that are like trying to pay places off, and then, owners are always steady to pay, especially if the horses aren't going good, which lucky they're in my barn, they're going okay, but little joke. So it's tough. You're trying to find wages, and the way fuel is, and like I said, Sharkie's tips, it really does take a toll on you.
So when you're looking at the business side of the game, and getting winners is one thing, but there's a business that's got to run properly behind it. Racing Victoria, the Trainers Association, is there much support or guidance there for smaller stables to make sure people are staying on the right side of the ledger, or is it you're your own business, you're left to yourself, if you're in trouble, you've got to sort yourself out, if you're going well, that's great?
Yeah, no, I think you're pretty well, to yourself. I think Robbie Lang proved, there was no one out there to help poor old Robbie when he went bad. Look, it is. It's just you're out there on your own. It's like any business, I suppose, and you just got to keep chipping away and do the best you can.
Do you think the sport needs to have more, safety net, but guardrails, assistance there for people to put up their hand and say, hey, I'm having a bit of trouble with this. Can I get a bit of help? Can I get some information? Can I get somebody in to help straighten things out? I think now, especially now that we've got to maintain horses that have finished racing. I've got a paddock full of 12 horses that I've had for. Street Fighter. He's 23 years old. Terrific. First horse I ever bred, it was all downhill from there. So I've got all them horses full. Anaquasi, Hell on Earth, all them horses I've got still in a paddock, still feeding, and. No, there's no support. You've got to pay for it yourself. So I think especially if you're having a really bad run and we're stuck with these horses, who do we turn to help out? I know we pay a percentage for horse welfare, but where does it go? Because it doesn't come back to me. So I'd love to know that. And, can people access that when they're in a bind? I just don't know. I'd love to know that answer.
Well, it's interesting. We'll follow up in the next couple of days. We've seen what New South Wales has done with the fuel subsidy.
Yeah, terrific.
And I know there's a lot of conversations going on at Racing Victoria, but at the moment, we need that, especially if you want to take a horse 300 k's away to race somewhere. You probably go, it's not worth it.
Yeah, look, I got a fine the other day for not putting my rider down, so I'm scared to suggest that that's correct. But I think it's a great idea. Look, I've always said that I thought trainers, should get paid per horse they run. Even if it was $200, because sometimes I take a truckload to Mildura. If you run 11, with all your horses, you get no money to go. And I know you're relying on owners to pay, but owners don't always pay, and sometimes we get stuck with some big bills and the owners walk away, and then you see them at another barn, and that's a little bit hard to cop, that you haven't received the funds. And I know they've got setups now to do that, but I don't know how successful that is. It still seems to happen.
You mentioned your late great mate Robbie Lang before. How special was it to have his daughter involved in the win of Cornish Evie on Saturday? Yeah,
it was terrific. 20 years since Robbie had trained a Group 1 winner, and the day just sort of come together, and Evie was in tears, and I was like, I was trying to keep it together because it was hard. And Evie comes down the beach and rides him down the beach, so it's just terrific. And she wanted to get back into a horse. Her dad and I was always together, laughing and joking, and she liked that. And so it just made her comfortable. And I just said, just wait, because I wasn't sure. Like I said at the start, I really thought I'd done me brass. And then once we got him to settle down, I said, okay, come in. So we give her the cup. I thought it was great, that we got, and all the owners agreed upon it, and so it was just fantastic. It really is. It makes it great.
Well, he's 100,000 jumped in on Saturday. Where to now?
Well, it's going to be weather dependent. So Mornington has the Ariba. I think 1200 he'll still be better at that. Then you've got the Goodwood and you've got the Wangoon. The Wangoon's tricky, but because some horses don't handle that wet. Anaquasi was a terrific wet tracker, and I took him down there and he couldn't run a yard in it. Yeah. So the Goodwood looks good. So, look, if the weather stays good, I'll beat him, trial him in 2 or 3 weeks' time, give him a real solid trial, and then go straight to one of them races.
If you was to pick one of those off, would you aim higher again and look at the Queensland Winter Carnival? Because it can get wet up there, and races like a straight break or something like that, if you wanted to dare to dream?
Yeah, let's not say if. Let's just say when he picks one of them off. I'm a glass full man, not a half full. I've never ever watched Collingwood and hope they run second. If you go over there and get one of them, 100% for sure.
And let's not forget about Unflinching. He was huge.
Mate, one of my favourite horses. Like, we got him and he beat Oak Hill and everything first start. It was amazing. Then he had a leg injury, had to go out, come back, got a virus. He taught me a lesson that day, that horse. He got a virus and I got him over it, and then I raced him and he bled. And I'll never make that mistake again. So you learn by your mistakes. And, his first run was good. He was a little bit underdone and he tugged a little bit, and I put the blinkers on him here on Tuesday, and I said to my son, he works with me every day, and I said, I'll tell you what, this thing with the blinkers on, he's going to give this a shake. And I was screaming. I thought he was home, and then I looked and I thought, oh, hang on, here we go, quinella.
Hey, speaking of, a couple of the owners filled up with the quinella, didn't they?
Oh, one of them was smarter than me. He took not an exacta, he took a fixed quinella and got 356 to 1 26 times. Wow. Where was I when that happened? Anyway.
That's a solid start.
Shawnee, well done, mate. I love the story. Love seeing trainers like yourself who you know when they're on, and you place them perfectly. To get a quinella in the listed race on Saturday is huge. And can't wait to see you in the ring with Sharkie.
Oh, well, and you know what? I'll get a haircut now because I can afford money, because I follow my own tips, not Sharkie.
Good on you, Shawn.
Good on you, boys.
Mathrick, well done. What an outstanding effort it was. All right, that was the fun part of Saturday. Let's have a look at the main event now, the Australian Cup, and what a finish it was with Pride at Jenni and Light Infantry Man. Well, it'll go down in history as one of the great Australian Cups, an epic two-horse battle up the straight. And for Kieran Maher, Jack Turnbull, who was the national assistant trainer, it didn't matter which way the bob went, but I wonder if there was a favoured way for Jack, who joins us on the verdict this morning. Great to have you, mate. What a weekend. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It really was. Even with Salty Pearl running third up in Sydney in the Vinery, and to have that finish just for racing, I guess, was pretty special, and good to see the mare bounce back. But either way, we were winning. It was just which camp you're in, I guess. Yeah,
which camp were you in? Can you be honest, or do you need to be diplomatic? Did you back one? Did you want one to win from the other?
No, I didn't have a bet, but it's a weird feeling. It really is, because you obviously know the story of Jenni, and the media and her journey, and then you got Light Infantry, who's a new kid on the block who thrives off her racing style. So I honestly stood back and was just appreciative of the result. I was upsides Tony at one point, so that was difficult.
Did he go in and have a look at the photo?
He did, just to check, I guess, the image. But there was a bit of a margin, unfortunately, for him. And I think once it all passed, you just stand back and assess, and you just have a lot of gratitude for it, because for her to race like that, I think I read she was 20 lengths quicker during, and then to come home in 39, but to stave off the likes of Birdman and everything, like just the theatre of it was amazing.
It's a strange situation, isn't it? Because Light Infantry Man wins the race, and it's almost an afterthought, because all applause essentially goes to Pride of Jenni for her performance. It's not the first time in her career that's happened either.
Yeah.
She is truly remarkable. And every time I watch that horse live, people in the crowd, as soon as their horse is out of the running, they're cheering for her.
Yeah.
You've been involved with a horse like her before. She's just something else.
She is something else. No, and I haven't. No, I said on radio Saturday morning, I think it was, to train her and to be a part of her management, she actually teaches you bad habits, because she's so unique. She's so resilient. She's tough. She's sound, and you look at her longevity and her record and her racing style. We're privileged to be a part of it and to be able to train her, because at one point she was being scanned to be bred last season, but never cycled, never got in foal, or never went to be served, and here we are. So it's a great story.
Looking at her physically as well in that finish, two very different styles of horses. And we've seen so many of these mares in the last few years that have gone to the top of the tree. As they get older and they mature and they get really strong and deep, she's got that bulk and strength about her. Whereas you look at Light Infantry Man, and he's very much a European style horse.
Yeah. Well, there's about 90 kilos between them.
Wow.
There is, yeah. So when she was winning 2 spring carnivals ago, her fit weight was low 530s. On Saturday, she raced at 548. So she's bigger, and there's improvement. So I'm not saying she's rock hard fit, but she's a bigger, stronger horse given her age. Since she had that longer spell to the back end of her last 2 spring carnivals ago, she just grew because she had time to reset and furnish. So, yeah, light infantry man races about 465, and then she's about 550.
Yeah. We're talking footy about gut runners with elite midfielders who are gut runners. That's exactly what she is.
Yeah.
And so's light infantry man. I thought she was going to run second last at the 300. But did you feel that, or do you know her so well now that you said, no, she's on today, she'll keep coming?
Yeah, we had a good feeling she was on. Daniel Schmidt's done all of her riding this prep with Sammy moving to Sydney, and when she's like ready to go, she's almost about to explode on the gallops. And when you're coming in off the 5%, going down the tunnel, like the riders feel like she's about to get run away on. And we gave her a very soft gallop Monday. She almost did no work, but that was the theory. We find now in her later stages, less is more to a degree once you've done the hard yards. So she was on, but you're sort of not holding your breath until she's doing what she did Saturday, because I went to deck straight after he got off, and he was just in awe. He said, I've never asked a horse to go that quick, and then to go again at the 1200 to be able to maintain and gallop out. With Birdman travelling up so sweet, and then finding little, and then to have Infantry sort of come up again, like it was just a great race.
Hugely brutal race for both of them. How'd they come through?
Very good. They're actually both at the beach now. Yeah. So, thankfully, they're both really sound horses. They don't take a lot of managing. We obviously do what we can in terms of chiropractors and masseuses and beach and all the rest of it. But at this stage, I'll stay down here to next Wednesday night, and then we'll take them up to Sydney.
Queen Elizabeth?
At this stage, for both.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, outstanding. Absolutely.
I tell you, it's going to be interesting because
It's going to be a great
Autumn Glow is unbeatable in the races that she gets, but Jenni can bring anyone undone. Is that what yourself and Kieran are thinking?
Well, yeah, like in a way. I mean, I was talking to Kieran about that this morning. I mean, it would be an interesting stat to bring up to see how horses have performed against her head-to-head, because there isn't many horses. I mean, there's light infantry man, but if you were to run those numbers, a lot of horses have raced against her and just get taken out of their comfort zone. I mean, I thought personally Sabaj Saturday was a monster run, and he's the new kid on the block. But there isn't a lot of horses that actually are accommodated by her racing pattern. So it's the unknown. I think the next 2 weeks are going to be a very good build-up for the race.
We're going to have Lindemann as well at Dubai Honour. We saw him go early.
Yeah.
So it could be one of the all-time great Queen Elizabeths from the way the race is run as well.
Well, as we've seen with Jenni before, when she's in this vein of form, no one really wants to take her on. So she'll be out doing her thing, and it'll be up to them as to judge the pace, how far off they want to let her get, which is a point Damien Oliver made yesterday. You don't want to let her get too far away because you're doing too much work to try and catch her, and you're already working.
Yep.
Given she's a rising 9-year-old now, I know she's been semi-retired before, she's been in and out, there's been all sorts of punter chat about what's the future holds for this mare. How long can she keep going like this?
$1 million question, I'm not sure. I mean, I would imagine so long as she stays healthy and wants to do it. I mean, the fact that she ran like that Saturday suggests she's found a bit of form again, and she's in a purple patch, because, as we know, the last prep she was on, she was off, she was on, and it became quite systematic. But when she hits form and when mares hit form, they generally hold. So hopefully that is the case for 2 weeks' time.
Well, looking forward to that. Hey, a few others. Jimmy Starr's been in the news the last 24 hours. How did he come through that piece of work? Is he going to run this weekend?
Yeah, at this stage he will. He galloped this morning solo up in Sydney. I was just showing Ethan actually his gallop video. So Kieran's there. He was pleased. It wasn't a tough gallop. Obviously, we had 2 weeks in travel, but more about action and just seeing how he is. So at this stage, we will be going into Saturday.
Any kind of reason or thought as to what went wrong last time out?
There isn't, to be honest. I mean, there is the track, but we don't want to be the ones to say that was the reason, because he was fairly underwhelming. Rare to see a horse leave a track with black eyes, which he did. Yeah. It really is, and he was trying to flush his eye. He just had a lot of kick and fill, and he didn't get struck in the head by any whips or anything. So that's not ideal, but it's not also the reason why we're running like that. So take it with a bit of trust. We're getting back onto a track which he loves, and we've had the run. So hopefully he just finds his form.
Very important win that went under the radar in Queensland. Victoria Road, who ran in the 2023 Cox Plate behind Romantic Warrior. He came out off a Breeders' Cup juvenile win and all the expectation in the world that comes with a CV like that from overseas. Tell us about his time in Australia, what's gone wrong. It was good to see something go right on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. And credit goes to Aussie because I think there's only 3 owners left in him, and Aussie's got the majority. He was an expensive buy. He's a Grade 1 winner in America, and he came over and had developed an injury specifically in his high suspensory, which we needed to back off. And he never injured it, but it was aggravated and sore. And he was a colt, so then he got bullish, and then we had to stop with him, gelled. He went up to Sydney, he went in the chamber. So it's been a long road. It was great to see him win, obviously well below his better days, but good test of perseverance, and it was great to see the horse win.
Is Tempted going to run this weekend? Or?
Undecided. She trialled last week, and she was very good. But Kieran, Godolphin, they'll keep Saturday open, and I'm sure they'll wait right to the death Wednesday morning. Otherwise, you've got the Arrowfield the week after.
And what are you doing with Observer? Will you kick onto the Derby?
Yes, at this stage, I did hear a whisper of James booked, I think, but. Yeah, he's fine. I mean, it was a little bit frustrating to see him race like that. I mean, we would have been happy to lead, and that horse of Moody's, I think it was, looked pretty keen and strong. It didn't want to lead, and once it got to the front, Craig obviously come back, and we clearly were over travelling. They weren't going fast, and our best possibility was if we were going to be free rolling and forward and sort of drawing the favourite out, Autumn Boy. So. It did become a bit of a sit and sprint, but we ran well. I mean, we ran third. We were sort of picking up again, it seemed. But for our terms, it would have been nice to see him sort of rolling along.
Yeah. I've been waiting for Shark to ask the question. Well, you're not going to ask the question.
Which question?
Your favourite horse?
She's an artist. Favourite thief. Well, what benchmark 74 is she going to next, Jay? For the supporters at home.
I think we break her. She was terribly disappointing. She's got a good record, but I mean the fact that she's been beaten $1.50 3 or 4 times is why she's not a punter's pal. But Saturday she was disappointing. She didn't really track up or travel as good as she has in the past, and the one eye didn't rev her up. It didn't, it kept her straight. But we're not to use that part of the track. I think one of the horses that were on our outside finished a length in front of us, but she just wasn't the horse. So she'll be better for time. It's disappointing. She's never got back to that second up rating she ran. It was a monster rating, but whether or not that was, a flash in the pan or it was just right time, right conditions. But she has ability. We just have to place her right.
All jokes aside, she comes with that hype by no fault of anyone's. She ran what the ratings boffins call this monstrous rating that day. And then the message gets out of control because the owners' connections, all hearing this, people talking about their horses from outside of the stable. Is there a point where you've got to step in and say, hey guys, maybe that's nice to hear, but let's just let the horse show us that she's that good? Bit of management there that needs to happen along the way? Yeah,
it's a shame, and it happens, I guess, in the winter when you have your stays that come through the staying ranks. And I know Berkshire Breeze was one a few winters ago. He wins 3 or 4 in a row, and all of a sudden he's second favourite for a cup, which is ridiculous, really, because you're so far out. But I guess the corporates don't want to lose their price. But with her, the rating she ran, and like you said, it's great to see them do it, but you need to see consistency. And she runs sort of low 90s off our database, which is still Saturday grade.
It's a good standard.
Very much so, yeah. And she's running good races, but I guess the expectation is that she was just going to skyrocket and be our next sort of sprinting Group 1 horse. But she's still young, so we'll hopefully have to wait and see. But I'll just probably stay away from punting for the next couple of starts.
Yeah. Don't worry, Sharkie's already away, so don't worry about that. Hey, mate, well done. Awesome job on the weekend. Good to see the 2 horses finding it out. And let's not forget, a lot of Infantry man's gone back to back.
Yeah.
3 Group 1s in Australia.
You need to be an elite horse, and he's in an elite category of horses who have won multiple Australian Cups, one of our great races.
Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty phenomenal. Mate, appreciate your time. Good luck for the championships as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Jack Turnbull joining us there on The Verdict. What a great day it was for Mark Walker and the team. A Group 1 double, both in Australia and in New Zealand. And Belle Cheval, well, it was close. It was nerve-wracking, but she got the Group 1 in the Vinery Stud Stakes. And Ben Gleeson, the man who runs the business in Melbourne for Mark Walker, is here. Where did you watch that, mate? And what was your what were you thinking on the line? Did you think you'd hung on?
It's quite a funny story, Michael. So Saturday I had one of my best mates get married. So Mark flew over for the sales, obviously. He was in Sydney already. But I would have hoped to have been there otherwise. But yeah, I had a wedding and I just happened to get to where I was staying and get no reception at the time of the race. So I was walking up and down the bus trying to refresh my screen and it kept freezing every 100 metres, I reckon. But the last 50 I managed to see it, but I still didn't really comprehend what had happened before that. So it would have taken me 10 minutes to see the replay and then realise, that's why there's a protest. So yeah, it was a pretty nerve-wracking sort of half an hour, feeling a bit misinformed. But yeah, look, the filly was great. She showed plenty of grit, determination, and it's funny, we galloped around the course proper on Thursday just to give her a look around and just stretch the legs, hoping that would help race day. Savile fillies can be a bit looky and have a good think about things, but didn't stop her having a look at the winning post and running around. So if she had gone straight, she probably wins comfortably, and I hope I think that's what stewards would probably took into account as well. And we're lucky the overhead showed she never interfered once with the Dom Sutton horse, and Billy Egan could keep riding her out. So they obviously made the right decision without being conflict of interest.
Love the progression of this girl through the season in New Zealand. Obviously, nearly turning over well written in the highly publicised Kiwi. Big task, changing countries. That trip takes a little bit out of them. 1,500 to 2,000 metres. How good is she, Belle Cheval? And where's the ceiling?
Yeah, it is a massive effort, to be honest, Sharkie. To come over in a week and settle in the way she did. Even Mark, when he got there, said, God, she's settled in better than I've seen any horse. And we had one of our great track riders from here go up for the week and look after her. And she said, God, she's straightforward. She's a sweetheart. She ate. She did her work, pleased us the whole way through. And a huge credit to Sam Burgesson and the team back in New Zealand. She arrived in incredible order. She had a couple of really good gallops at home before she came over, so we had to do nothing with her for the week. And she worked the house down, and they got plenty of plenty of work into her between that the slot race and Saturday to keep her up to the mark. But it's a massive jump. You're right, 1,500 to 2,000. Off breeding, we were hopeful that she ran out a strong 2,000. You could maybe say she was just there at the end. But yeah, a massive effort from the filly. Been a long preparation the whole way through. They're sort of up and going in December over there with the big races going. So to go from 1,200 and all the way through progression to winning a Group 1 in Sydney, it's going to hold her in really good stead for a spring here.
Yeah, so that's box tick now. She doesn't go onto the Oaks?
No. She it was a big enough effort. I'd say she got back here this morning and again didn't turn her hair. She was straight to her feed. Couldn't have travelled any better. Didn't look tucked up or anything. But we're going to the paddock on a high rather than an afterthought. So she'll get a good 6 to 8 weeks now down here. You could say arguably it's colder at home and they spell during a tricky time of year. Whereas at least we've got some nice weather here for the next few weeks. She can get some sun on her back and spell well, and then come back in mid-May and build up towards Spring Carnival.
Could she be an Empire Rose sort of style of mare?
Yeah, Mark will have to sit down and talk to the owners. But you'd think she profiles perfectly like that. We had Damask Rose last spring progress from, sort of a race like the Cochrane and a Turak and all the way through. So whether she follows the same progression could be the right thing for her. She's obviously rated a bit higher than what Damask Rose was now after winning a Group 1, so we'll have to factor that in. But yeah, there's plenty of fillies and mares, progressive races through to an Empire Rose, and that would probably be the dream.
That was a big win for Mark and the team too. Imperatrice a little while ago, but winning Group 1s over in New Zealand, you needed to have a big Group 1 win here. Did you feel that way as well?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's been 2 years, feels like a long time between drinks and racing. So, it just highlights how hard it is to find a good horse. It really is. Imperatrice put us on the mat, and she was an incredible journey. But, I've had a lot of young horses come through and begin here, and, been probably city class, but maybe not that group class. So, to have her come all the way through and for another fantastic owner, new colours, just reminds everyone that we train for anyone outside the stables, not just the Tangerines. So yeah, it was a really good reminder in a Group 1 to showcase that and win a big one in Sydney for us as well. That was our first major in Sydney since opening the stable here too. So yeah, I can't fathom how much it means to the team, and it just installs that confidence back in everything we're doing and the systems. And we had a double on Sunday too, so if we can get a bit of momentum and keep rolling from here, just got to need the horses to show the ability of the stable, really.
How hard has it been to, you've been in Australia and Victoria for a couple of seasons now, but to get that attention and to drag it away from established stables? Like, everyone knows the brand from New Zealand raids over here, but to set up a shop here and to punt that brand's going to carry through with the local market, has it come as easily as the team might have thought?
Well, probably not. Like, we're on a high, obviously, off the back of Imperatriz, and we had all the attention, and of course, when you're hot, people want to jump in and be part of the team. So we had all the momentum at that point, and I've sort of said a few times, it's a bit like a football team. Like, we're at the top, felt like you're winning a premiership, and then we had basically 6, 7, 8 stakes horses running around winning races constantly for that year and a half. I think we had we were 30% strike rate. Everything was just humming, and all those horses have since retired at the one period, and we had 45 2-year-olds that then you had got to wait 6 to 12 months for them to come out. So we hit a real quiet period in the spring of a year and a half ago now, and I think we had 8 stakes winners to start that spring. Then those horses retired, and then we had a pretty quiet autumn, and everyone's quick to forget about you, aren't they, and pot you as soon as things aren't going that way. And we just had to wait patiently with our 2-year-olds. We still haven't run a hell of a lot of them, even as 3. So a lot of them are going to be autumn horses, and we just sort of bit the bullet and thought if we can give these horses patience, it's certainly going to be rewarded. So it's been a quiet period, but we still think we've got the horses there and the quality, and we certainly know we've got the systems in place. We'll get there eventually.
The good thing about this filly is that it's an incredibly strong group of 3-year-old Kiwi fillies, isn't it? A Hope wins, who went around on the weekend in this race, obviously well written as well. So you've got the confidence that this form will be able to translate to hopefully the 4-year-old and open form as well. Yeah,
definitely. Like, I was talking to David Ellis on Friday, and he said Lance O'Sullivan reckons this is the best horse he's ever had.
Yeah, wow.
So to say something that big holds her in good stead. Obviously, some horses travel better than others, and I'm sure we'll see bigger and better things from her with the Waller camp, and Salty Pearl been a pillar of consistency. So that form's strong everywhere. It really is with the 3-year-olds. So for her to come over and beat these horses, we're probably going to see well written over here in the spring. So it's exciting that those horses are measuring up, because some years you don't know where they're at. We've obviously brought some horses over, and it's been a massive learning curve. Some haven't lived up to the hype, but this really is, and we've got it right.
What do you make of a Hope wins, maybe from an Oaks perspective on the weekend?
Look, I was really I backed her on Saturday, so disappointed that she didn't win that race. But that aside, if you're looking at the Oaks as her grand final while she's over here, she's a month between runs. She looked to do it a little bit keen at stages of that race. She didn't drop away. She kept on to her task. Looking at her form in New Zealand and looking at the depth of those fillies over the depth that we believe there to be, I think she's a horse that will really come on for the run, and I wouldn't be dropping off her in the Oaks at all. I think she's a huge chance.
Yeah. Gee, Dom Sutton, you knocked him off. He's got another good horse, isn't he? Like, after summer, that's a great Oaks trial. Because she was gone on the point of it.
Yeah,
your girl was going to beat her by 3 lengths.
Yeah, I watched Zach Lloyd's interview yesterday, and he was saying to Ollie and that on Racing.com, I couldn't believe that she was beside me, because I dropped her at the top of the straight and thought she was gone, going to run a 4th or 5th. So obviously a really progressive staying filly, and Dom's training the lights out at the moment. 2 very stiff seconds there on Saturday, but his horses are knocking on the door, and if you keep turning up, he's going to lob one of those Group 1s, I'm sure.
They've clearly got belief in after summer, because around that form from the spring, they went and targeted Classic Gem, who was running in those same races. They've bought her. She's run a huge race first up in the Alexandra the other week behind Get a Good Feeling. So he's well supported, Dom Sutton. When he's got judgment on one, they're happy to go and buy up horses around it to try and consolidate that form, which is unusual for a small stable.
Yeah,
but
sort of what Steve Kieran doing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the same model with a smaller shop, which is really interesting. They'll probably split those 2 horses. You'd imagine Classic Gem would go to the South Australian Oaks, whereas after summer will plot a course on to Sydney. Can we talk about your 2-year-old in New Zealand, Seize the Day, winning the Group 1 size? A little quirky by I'm Invincible. there's not many Group 1 winning colts by Invincible. I think Vinrock moved to Stripe, which was another one, and now sees a day. So 2 of the 3 Group 1 winning 2-year-old bulls by Invincible have come through the system.
Yeah, the team at home have a pretty good handle on their 2-year-olds. I think I saw a stat the other day in Australasia, Mark and Sam and the team here have trained the most 2-year-old winners of anyone. Yeah. So it's a good stat. Mark loves his 2-year-old racing. They obviously educate them so well early days, and they're still there racing strong at the end of the season. But from day dot, Mark has said this colt's the pick.
Really?
Loved him, raved about him for yonks. So
is he a geese horse in the spring?
Yeah, it'd be a matter of which way he goes. He does come here. Yeah. Just whether he's a sprinter or a miler. You'd probably on pedigree say he's more of a Coolmore type of horse, but he'll spell at home now and then come over here for an exciting spring. So we're really shaping up a strong hand for hopefully a big spring.
It's a great advertisement, isn't it? I'd imagine Mark and David would be onto the phone to Yarraman and just reminding them, hey, your stallion, the best stallion in the country, maybe you need to be pointing a few people with nice colts to our direction. We can get them going at 2.
Yeah, there's some really good owners in this horse too, like Kiora in him as well. It's a really good colt syndicate. I think even Michael Freeman's in him, funnily enough.
Wow.
Some trainers and astute judges really like him at the sales. And
is he a pest owner? Does he ring Mark up and say, "Hey, I think we should be doing this"?
I think Mark had to remind him he had the horse over here at the sales and said, "You got a pretty good one." He goes, "Oh, what's that again?"
Freeman's too much money.
So yeah, now he'll see him over here, and hopefully we're knocking off some of their horses.
Brilliant stuff. Hey mate, well done.
Thank you.
You're the backbone of the team down here. It's good when you get to see the fruits of the labour come to fore in big Group 1 races, and it augurs well for a huge spring.
Yeah, no, can't wait. It's going to be an exciting team with the hand we have, and hopefully we're back with a bang.
Sharkie, let's have a look at some of the other races that caught the eye on the weekend at Flemington and in Sydney outside of the majors. I don't think there's any doubt that the most impressive win of the day outside of the group races at Flemington was Zakuma. This is a stayer that's going somewhere for Graham Begg.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's taken a little bit of time for it to find momentum. 12 starts, it's got 4 wins now. But this is obviously a deliberately bred horse by Trevor Delroy, who's bred Derby winners before, Ethiopia, Cedarburg, he had running around. So a very good breeder of stayers. Graham Begg's a very patient trainer. They've built this horse up. They're building a very nice record now. That win, I think, visually was probably the most impressive of the day. That's 3 on the bounce now, this preparation from 1600, so he's obviously got some boot. 1800 next time was very, very good at Sandown. And then Flemington out to 2000. He has got more to give too. Yeah. We'll see this horse at 1.5 miles. Might be in a Mornington Cup next time to try and win his way into a Caulfield
I think it's great placement because he'll get in with a pretty good weight in a Mornington Cup, and if he can win that, we haven't seen many Mornington Cup winners that are competitive in a Caulfield Cup since it's been a win in your end. I think Kingswood Dreams probably be the best winner that's gone to a Caulfield Cup previously, but this horse continued development, gets into a Caulfield Cup with 50 kilos or something, you know he can stay.
So there's a 72 rater going into that race on the weekend. He got 5 points for his win prior. You'd think he'd get around 5 again for that, so that'd take him to a 77. He's going to have an attractive handicap in a Mornington Cup. And again, if he gets that golden ticket, he'll be at the bottom of the handicap based on what his rating is. Really, really exciting horse. And I know we talk about that a little bit with stayers. But when you start getting a roll on, you win 3 in a row. If it's 4 in a row next time in a Mornington Cup, it's not that far a leap to start talking about Group 3s and Group 2s because our staying ranks are very stagnant.
Well, they're European. There's no horses coming through the ranks like he does at the moment from Australia. Speaking of golden tickets, when you're in, we saw the Roy Higgins on the weekend. Great win for Glenn Thompson and the crew, Whiskey on the Hill. Is this a horse that could be genuinely competitive now? It's got a start in a Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, I think he is if he gets the weather right. It's track dependent with this horse. His wet track record, soft and heavy, is so much better than his good track record. And he's not a bad horse on top of the ground. It's just when he gets his toe in, he just gives that extra bit. He's a very strong stayer. Looking at him on the head-on shot on Saturday, he's very good across the chest. He's got a good forearm on him, plenty of strength there. He will stay all day. If he gets a wet track on Cup Day, I think he's a genuine top 4 chance.
How strong do you think this year's Roy Higgins was? Litsteel was... she started even money on Saturday, and a lot of punters... I know you love the corporates. I think she was in the 4th favourite in the Melbourne Cup prior to the running with the anticipation that she would get the ticket. Is she still a horse that's got that genuine Melbourne Cup aspirations to get in?
When it comes to the markets at the moment, I think the corporates have been really open with this because of the taxes that they're subject to. Your favourites are starting a hell of a lot shorter than they probably would have 10 years ago, right? And we have a bit of fun with horses like She's an Artist and whatnot. But they are taking no chances with horses at the pointy end of the market. $2 was at the true price? Probably not. You could get better elsewhere if you looked around on the exchanges and whatnot. She's a really nice horse. It wouldn't shock me if she was able to win her way into a Melbourne Cup in the next 6 to 9 months. Paradise Storm coming off a wide margin win in New Zealand. I think that gives a little bit more depth to the form. And Desert Hero's a good horse at his best. Probably wants toe in as well. Away from that, we're probably dealing with horses getting ready for a jump season, Highland Blaze, etc., who's run really well. It's a good thing those 4 horses filled the top 4 because that's where the class was on paper for me, and they've all run well in the race, which tells you there's a bit of depth there.
Well, we'll get to see it because Paradise Storm's going to go to Sydney for the Sydney Cup, maybe even Whiskey in the Hill. Glenn Thompson said, look, it's a $2 million race in 2 weeks. A lot can happen between now and the Melbourne Cup. Why wouldn't you have a crack while we're in form?
Well, and if the weather breaks and you get a wet track on Sydney Cup Day, wouldn't you want to know if your horse is capable of being at the thick end of it over 2 miles?
Absolutely. In Sydney, geez, Aliana, like, how good is she? I love that race. We touched briefly on the Tankwood when we were talking to Jack, but Aliana, I don't know if he'll run her in a Queen Elizabeth. She's done a lot. She backed up 2,400, back to 2,000. He's obviously got Autumn Glow going there, Chris Waller as well, but that was one of the really good 2,000 metre weight, 2,400 metre weight for age Group 1s that we've seen because Aussie Tom Marquand got going early on Dubai Honour. Interesting, Ollie yesterday saying he went too early. I reckon he would have won if he just held another 100 metres. What do you think?
Yeah, probably makes a good point, Ollie, especially given the margin there at the end. Biggest cheer of the day at Flemington on Saturday.
Well, she was not 85.
The punters in the forum in particular went absolutely berserk when she loomed up and hit the front. She's had a great prep. That's her 4th run. 2 Group 1s now on the bounce. Knowing Chris Waller, you wouldn't be surprised if that was it for her. If they pulled up and aimed at a spring, they've got Caulfield Cups on the table, they've got Cox Plates there on the table as well.
Weighted out of a Caulfield Cup now?
Well, quality gets you a long way in a Caulfield Cup, doesn't it? And we do see horses up towards the top end of the handicap often winning the Caulfield Cup.
So you can win it,
And 2,400 metres we've seen her now in a Derby, winning by a wide margin, amazing performance, and now in a Tancred running down a genuine bona fide Group 1 horse on the international stage with a margin to 3rd. I think that puts her right up at the top of the tree as far as 1.5 mile racing goes in this country. She's had a great prep. She's starting to fill out that frame that she probably wasn't filling out in the spring. She's going to be an even better horse come the spring of this year, and then again in the autumn next year. Just like Pride of Jenni, we heard about her earlier on, how she's bulking up and filling out. That's what we're going to see from horses like Aliana, Treasure of the Moment, Autumn Glow. Frightening, isn't it?
Storm Leopard, big win in the Tulloch. I'd say they're probably more than likely to pay the late entry fee to get into the Derby. They're pretty excited, the team at My Racehorse. Why wouldn't you be? We've got some shares to give away too. Don't forget, at the end of the podcast, in a couple of minutes, we'll tell you how you can join the My Racehorse team. 5 free shares. Maybe you could have the next Storm Leopard, Sharkie. And this looks like a genuine stayer.
He does.
He gets the line well. Have you got a question mark?
Oh, look, until they do it, I think you've got a question mark on all of them. He's by Gaiath. He's out of the same family as Pericles, Helmet, Epaulet. So usually a sprint mile family. But Gaiath's probably putting some strength behind the page there. Isn't that stallion just... I'm so glad he's coming back to Victoria as well. So important for Victorian breeding that horse returns. Given a beautiful ride by Tommy Berry. The way the track was playing, he just had him in the exact right spot, stalking that pace. When he was there to be asked a question, he responded immediately, strong through the line. Eureka Rebel running on for Fierce Impact in a second.
You're cheering this one on.
Absolutely I am.
Straight to the Derby?
Absolutely. Talking to Matt Smith yesterday, he said, had the Derby earmarked a long way out for this horse. Great to get him there in form. The Tulloch form often stands up. come the Derby. I know Observer and others, Green Spaces, come through that Rosehill Guineas, and they're going to have a brighter spotlight on them. But you look back at the results from the Derby, Tulloch winners and runners-up in particular, those two often outperform their price.
How much did it sell for, Eureka Rebel?
He's a homebred by
he's a
Seymour
homebred.
Bloodstock,
Okay.
yeah. So he was bred out of a good mare. I think he's Magnanimity, I think is his dad.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing him when he was born. Seems
No
like
interest
yesterday.
like self-interest.
I've got no interest in him, other than we want the stallion to have runners in good races, and he's got that. But Darren Thomason and Mark Pilkington obviously bred that horse. Great to see them with a homebred in a big race.
Right, speaking of the breeding, yesterday, Sydney Easter Sale Day 1, it's the biggest sale of the year. We expect fireworks, we expect plenty of cash, and Coolmore have been in a buying habit recently. They spent $30 million on the Golden Slipper winner, and they topped the sale yesterday. $3 million.
Yeah.
They went.
Extreme Choice Pretty Brazen, a horse bred by Graham and Linda Huddy, who raced Preferment and horses like that. Shootout, of course, going back a little way. Great racing couple, really good breeders. This is their best result, and it's probably the highest price horse that Lime Country's ever sold as well. So a great result for them. Look, Extreme Choice progeny collector's items. There's not a lot of them, so the nicer ones with the best pedigrees.
Pretty Brazen, who was a pretty good mare herself.
She was. They're going to find themselves in this sale, and they're going to find themselves having the bulk end of the inspections and the bulk end of the interest in the ring. Pretty Brazen, lot 26, $3 million. Lot 117 out of Speak Fondly, a filly by Extreme Choice from Newgate, going for 1.8. 2 Extreme Choices at the top of the tree. It wouldn't shock me if there was another one up there by the end of it. Look,
Clint McDonald and Shane McGrath just throwing around some of the Blue Diamond and Golden Slipper cash as well. 1.8.
Absolutely, and if they can get a stakes win against a filly with that sort of pedigree, she's probably worth that when they resell her. And that's the fact of the matter here. The Easter sale has got, and they promote it as, the best types and the best pedigrees.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of money at the head of that sale. I will say clearance rate was down a little bit on day one from last year. I think it was 79% last year.
average,
76, just a touch below as well. Gross was a little bit up, but I think that's driven by the competition for these top lots.
Yep.
Noticed and talking to a couple of agents, I just reckon that that 200 to 400 band was just a little bit soft. You had to, there wasn't the sort of competition they thought at that part of the market. Obviously, people saving their ammunition for the big lots.
Well, if you don't have $3 million or the multi-millions to throw around at the English Easter sale, you can become a racehorse owner for nothing. That's right, with thanks to My Racehorse. Of course, they're the Group 1 winning team behind the likes of Apocalyptic, Willie Do It, so many other horses as well. And we've loved their partnership on the Verdict throughout the Festival of Racing, the Autumn Carnival. So for the final time, hopefully they'll be back in the spring. For those of you out there who have entered, these are the lucky winners. This is a free share, and it's not just any old horse, it's a $1/2 Creek. So it's going to be some horse that you'll have a bit of fun with. Stephen P, Denise F, Dion H, Kathleen W, Louise F. Congratulations. You are now racehorse owners with thanks to My Racehorse. What a great team they are to be enjoying all the fun with, and they might have a Derby runner as well. Sharknado, great fun to come here. I'm glad you survived Shawn Mathrick. So I'm looking forward to the next meeting with you two.
Should have had a silly bet with him, like if Cornish wins the Stradbroke, we both shave our heads or something like that.
Well, you might be fully bald by then, so it'll be a no bet.
We might revisit it if he gets to that race.
No, it's been good to catch up with all the stars out here at the Cranbourne trials, the jump outs, and hopefully Sharkie will find you a couple we'll tell you about on Friday as well. Hope you've enjoyed the Verdict podcast. Make sure you listen to tomorrow, the Tuesday edition. Sharkie, I'll see you on Friday. And well done to Nick Noonan too. He found Cornish. He's Shawn Mathrick's best mate. That's why you've got to listen every Friday. Nick Noonan with the long price winners as well. Enjoy your Monday. We'll catch you soon on The Verdict.